Good morning, my dear people, and welcome to the 12th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Today, I would like to start the reflection with a question that will lead us, or some questions, there are two, that will lead us to the understanding of what we are celebrating on the 12th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Does God, the questions goes as follows. Does God care about the dramas of men? Where is He in the moment of sufferings and difficulty that we face throughout our lives? Those are crucial questions that we often ask ourselves, and sometimes to find an answer, it is not easy. And the liturgy of the 12th Sunday of the Ordinary Time tells us that it is throughout his journey on earth that man is not lost. Man is not alone. He is not abandoned to his fate, but a man is led by God. It is God who walks by his side, taking care of him with the love of a father and offering him life and salvation at every step. That most often we forget about it. When things are tough, we run away. We run away from God and seeking for uh, help, seeking for comfort somewhere else. That is even worse than the situation we were in. That will put us in a drastic situation where we will regret the whole of our life than abiding in God. If we abide in God, He is walking always with us, He is near us, and He will lead us to salvation, to come out from that suffering. So, moving forward, we also tried to understand it through the readings of the day that I'm going to share with you. Then in the first reading, we can see that it tells us of a majestic and component and omnipotent, a majestic and omnipotent God. That's what the first reading is about. That majestic and omnipotent God dominates nature and has a perfect and stable plan for the world. This means that man, in his smallest and finitude, cannot always understand the logics of God's plan. It is very difficult. Then it remains for him, however, to give himself into the hands of God with humility and complete trust. Since we are not able to grasp everything on in the part of God's plan, what God has planned for human being, what we have to do is just to surrender ourselves, to humble ourselves, to be part of Him, to let ourselves led by God. So then the second reading comes as an assurance to us or for us that God, who is our Father, with humility and complete trust. This God is not an indifferent God who leaves men or who leaves us in our fate. This can be understood in the light of the coming of Jesus into the world to free us from the selfishness that enslaves us and to offer us the freedom of love that shows to us that our God is an intervening God who loves us and wants to teach us the way of life. He loves us, He teaches us, and wants to show us the way of life. That's wonderful. Then the gospel that we have heard, which is from the Gospel of Mark, offers us a catechesis on the journey of the disciples on mission in the world. Mark assures us that the disciples are never alone to face the storm that rises every day in the sea of life. The disciples, they have nothing to fear because Christ goes with them, helping them to overcome the opposition of forces that opposes the life and the salvation of men. That is a bit of a reflection on what we are contemplating today, just to mean that God goes ahead of us. As we heard in the first reading, in times of suffering, God is in front of us. He precedes us to prepare the way. Then the second reading comes as an assurance, bringing us the face of God who is love. Then the third part, that is the gospel, tells to us that this God of love is the father of the disciples. He goes ahead for, from the disciples, leading them to be and teaching them, giving them the catechesis on how to be missionaries and missionaries to the world and in the world. So, my dear people, I'm very happy that you were part of this program. You shared this moment. So, as we journey in our lives, we surely will encounter mountains, will encounter difficulties in our missionary life, in our different commitment in life, but we should not give up. God is there. He's our stronghold. He is leading us. So what we have to do is that when we face those difficult moments, we need to raise our eyes and look at the cross. And then look at the cross where he poured his blood for us as a sign of love, as indicating us the way that the missionary journey, our baptism that we received, and all the commitment into the church life will not let us free. We will be battling with difficulties and so on, to this salvation. So God is there to protect us, to help us, so that we may endure all those, then we enter into glory together with Him. For this, I would like to wish you a happy Sunday and many blessings upon you as you proceed ahead with your difficult tasks, that I may say. But don't give up. Jesus is the way. Our God is the solution. He will lead you through. Thank you.